It's the Jaden Show, and here's your host, Jaden Cornelius. It's the Jaden Show, and I am Jaden Cornelius, and welcome to my show. It's Sunday. I'm here back on YouTube. I've got a wonderful, wonderful show in store for you today with a very, very talented singer, songwriter. There's nothing that she can't do. She can cover every single genre. She has lists of hundreds of songs. She's also writing very successful musical drama as well. I think we should start the show by watching one of her videos. You're going to love this song. It's called So Long Ago by Danielle Morgan. Enjoy, and then we'll go meet our special guest.
So long ago, when we were young and free, no accountability. It was just you and me. What did we know? Making our history happened so suddenly. Was it really you and me? What was it for? That open door. Was the time alright? When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? Friends that we had, and the promises we made, silly little games we played. If they could have only stayed, how could it last? Slipped away too easily. We followed our destiny. They live in our memory. What was it for? That open door. Was the time alright? When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? So long, so long, so long. When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? Where did it go? The years just flew away. We had so much to say. That was in our younger days. So where are we now? Looking back so tenderly. It's just you and me, running to uncertainty. What was it for? That open door. Was the time alright? When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? So long, so long, so long. When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? When I give a little love, then give back. Tell me, was I wrong? Was I wrong?
Well, you've heard that. Let's go and meet her. Please welcome on today's The Jaden Show, my very special guest, Danielle Morgan. Danielle Morgan, welcome to my show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I wish I was in the warm weather where you are, though.
It's a little bit. It plummeted last night to 16 degrees. I had to turn my fan and close my windows because it was.
Did you put your hat and gloves on?
Actually, do you know what? I had to put an extra duvet on. I was bloody freezing. It woke me up. I was like, I've become weak-blooded since I've moved here, mate. I tell you.
I'll send you an electric heater, Jaden.
You might have to, it looks a little bit chilly behind you, a little bit foggy.
Do you know what? It's the heating's on. Let's just say that. And there's a fight. It's not the warmest.
No. How's it all going?
It's good, thank God. Went over to Ireland for the first time to do, work. So yeah, things are opening up. So it's good to be able to get back on a plane.
And just get back to some kind of normality, right?
Yeah. That was. I'm normally really quite scared of flying, but it was exciting. You just get back in and just get back on the horse. So thank God things are starting to, kick off again.
Yeah, is that the immortal song? You don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Exactly. And you're very grateful for when those small little nuggets come your way and sort of stuck in the air.
Well, we've just watched your amazing video So Long Ago. We just watched it. It's called So Long Ago. We didn't watch it so long ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're not just like a one genre woman, are you? I mean, there is like, you cover pretty much everything from different genres of music to writing plays and, oh my God, musical drama. And just tell me, what is Danielle Morgan about?
So if I just give it to you in layman's terms, I could give you a long-winded professional answer, but I'm not. For me, I write, and I'm going to get beaten up for this, but I write selfishly. My husband and I, John Merrigan, we write selfishly because we don't have many vices. Occasionally we like a glass of red wine or whatever, but for us, our writing was our hobby. It was our release. And we did a lot of poetry and bits and pieces. So we used to play in a band together and write music that chilled us out and would reflect the mood. And then if we'd meet someone, in a supermarket or chat to someone in a lift or on an aeroplane, and they tell you a story, it sort of gets in our head. Yeah. And then we end up sort of putting music to a story. And then normally I write a ballad. I love a ballad. And then John would go, oh, you need some drums. And then he'll put drums. And then depending what mood we're in, it might go reggae, it might go jazz, it might go country, it might go blues. Depends how deep. Sometimes the lyrics mean absolutely nothing, but people think they do. And other times it's got a really deep meaning, and we've hidden the lyrics so much that people have no idea what's going on. So it depends what mood we're in. We've been criticised a lot for not sticking to a genre, but equally, the world's a very big place, Jaden. So you'll always find people that like what you do. Absolutely. And then musical theatre, I love musical theatre. I love it. And one day... Are you a
thespian, darling?
I'm not. No, I just love it. I just love...
Just a junkie.
Big dance numbers. Yeah, I just love all of that, traditional Oliver, Mary Poppins, all of that. Sweet. And then one day we were doing a gig in Brighton, and these people come up and said, love what you're doing. It was like a live gig in a radio station. And they started chatting as you do. And then they said, I don't suppose, you've ever written for musical theatre. And I was like, no, but we can. And then with that, it just went like this.
Really?
Let's just say, writing for musical theatre is a whole different ball game. And we found ourselves on this journey. And then we did one, and then we ended up doing another one. And we're songwriters, and we love gigs, and we love concerts and bands. It's a different format, but ultimately it gives us a buzz too. When you've done a song and you've got a 25-piece orchestra and a band, and all of a sudden the music comes to life. It's and I go, so like with a new ELO, we'll get away with it, you know. So yeah, it's I could give you a really long-winded technical answer, but I'm not gonna. We just write for us, and we're really lucky that people like what we do.
That's and creation's creation, right? And passion is passion.
Big time,
so you do what you love, and you do what comes from your soul. So it's really interesting. This is kind of, with all the singers that I've chatted to over like the course of the last 6 months or so, or however long the show's been going now. Can't remember. It's the one of the biggest conversational pieces now is how, as artists before, myself included, I had a pop, you know, I had a record deal in the 90s, blah, blah, blah. You always had to be stereotyped. You always had to be pigeonholed into one particular genre, as we were saying before the interview. But now I think what COVID has proven is that this industry is super, super fragile because you can't get out. There's not a lot you can do, darling, apart from writing stuff in your house. And then you're very limited. You need to make as many fans as possible. So if that means you get 50,000 reggae, 50,000 country, 50,000 pop, 50,000, then that's great because you can't get out because of the COVID pandemic, right? So it's changed the whole perspective of our art and our craft, but also it's kind of weakened for me, like, and so it's been like a common chatting piece. It's almost kind of weakens that pigeonhole now, that actually all I can be is Jaden Cornelius, and whether I sing Nessun Dorma or I Will Always Love You, I'm still Jaden singing it. So what you're doing, you're still right. Danielle Morgan, whether it's reggae, whether it's musical theatre, whether it's folk, country, pop, rock, whatever, right?
That's right. We don't have the same meal to eat every night. You know, we don't have the same thing for breakfast every day. So you know, when I was, you know, I was lucky enough to train at the BRIT School, and everything at that time was all pop music. Not what we were doing, not what the students were doing, but the industry was all pop. Mm-hmm. And I used to be saying to people, why does it matter what I look like? Why does it matter what I'm wearing? Why does it matter what my hair's like? I just want to just sing. And I was told, not by the Brit, but by the, you know, the record industry, that this is what's done. We don't have songwriters. There are writers, and you just sing and you stand up there. And I remember saying, well, I don't want to do that. And everyone was like, oh, what do you mean? And I was offered a few good commercial deals, really. And I walked away, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And I went off to Nashville, and I did a bit of country music, because that if I'm doing a song, whether I've written it or not, and I don't get goosebumps or I don't get a really feel good, like if I said to you now, bum, 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 you'd know straight away, Sergio, Stevie Wonder, bang, tune, right? That's older than you and me, right? And if a song don't get you and you're like, yes, then I don't want to do it. Yeah. And I don't want to be doing something because someone's giving you a big fat paycheck at the end of the day. So for me, I took a really harder route, I suppose. And everyone was like, are you mental? Because the industry, it is, for what the public see, you will know the difference. But from the outside, where they see glitz and glam and whatever, what we see is indecision, hanging around for hours. Hanging around. And you know, a load of sharks that really are not your friends. So, and that's me being nice. So for me, I wanted to be in control of what I looked like, or what I was going to wear, or what song I chose to sing. And respect for everybody that does their own thing. That's cool. That's very cool. But for me, I'm a bit too much of a control freak. I wanted to do my own thing. And I can promise you, if I was with, let's just say, a major, there's no way would I be able to just say, oh, this week, I don't want to sing about something depressing. I want to sing a bit of reggae. They'd be like, absolutely not. No. Or if I said, I want to do musical theatre this week, they'd be like, you can't do that. So
you're in control of your art.
I have to be. Do you know what, Jaden? You have to have. It's your business, isn't it? It's like a restaurant. You've got your clientele, you've got your customers, and everyone can do well. And you can do whatever you want as long as you are with an ethical group of people that you trust and you want to work with. The second you become, for want of a better word, corporate, you lose the heart and soul.
But you're selling your soul, right? You're selling your soul, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of decent friends in the industry, and there are some really good guys. But it's like anywhere, there's good and bad, and you have to, you know, for me, I'm a mum, you know, there's 6 kids in our family unit, ranging from 27 down to 4. You know, I'm a wife, my husband and I work and create, we've traveled 24/7. So for someone to say, well, you've got to go to a different country for 2 weeks and be away from them and miss a parent's day or a sports day, that's not going to groove with us.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work. But again, equally, other people, you know, go their own route, and they have to do what gives them that buzz, gives them that.
I guess it all boils down to the need of the individual, right? If the need of the individual is to become successful and famous and have money, then you'll do what it takes to do that, right? You will sell whatever you have to sell. You will give whatever you have to give, because you'll make it work, because that is your passion, to be famous. But I think if part of that wanting to be noticed is not necessarily because of you want to be noticed, but because you want your art, your creativity, you want to be successful in what you do because that's your driving force, then I think that takes on a little bit. But at the same time, it's a balance between, you know, like you are a mum and you are a singer-songwriter. So, and I'm sure that you love both equally. And sometimes that scale will be tipped depending on the situation. But how can you sacrifice, you know, like not seeing your kids for something? When
but you know, for me, and again, I'm not dissing anyone else, for me, being a wife and being a mum is my first job and my only job and my priority. Right. And nothing or no one will ever come in between my husband and I, or our children and our family. And we have, I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to make people feel bad, but we have turned down massive opportunities because it was a football match or it was a christening or whatever, because that's important to us. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're content in what you're doing and you're secure in what you're doing, and then you say, I don't need to go to that function, I don't need to go to that do, because you know what I've got is right here. I'm happy sitting with my husband and kids, eating popcorn, watching Disney, and watching Cinderella. I don't need to go out to some nightclub or whatever, because I think when you've lived a life, you know, and you've experienced the world, my husband and I, we've done all of that. And we are there's lots of ways you can be very famous and very rich, not in the industry. I can promise you, as you well know. So you have.
I'm still working on that bit, darling.
You know what I mean? For us, it's about leaving a legacy. Like, do I want my kids to open up a newspaper in 30 years' time with their grandchildren and go, Mum, what did you do that for? So every opportunity, I'm not saying I've not made some stupid mistakes along the way, because, you know, we all have, but the thing for us is that my ethics from everything that we do as a family goes into our kids. And, you know, there's a right way of doing things and there's a wrong way. And if you're gonna dance with the devil, then there will be consequences. It might not be now, but it might be 30 years' time when your grandkids goes, oh, your dad was a bit of a donut. What was he doing? You know? So, yeah, I mean, look, horses for different courses for different people. But for me, I try, and we try and be as ethical and as, you know, decent as we can. And hopefully, give out to the universe. Hopefully, it does come back.
Yeah, I believe it does. Well, it already is, right? Looking at your bio, your musical CV, you're unbelievably successful. You might not have a four I don't know, acre barley land or whatever it is, but the things that you've done and things that you've achieved.
I've got my picture, Jaden. I've got my picture of my road bridge.
Well, I know you're going to cross that when we finish this interview. You're going back home, right? It's like bloody Narnia.
I'm shopping that little bit there. Don't worry.
Is there a Chinese takeaway just over the back of that tree?
No, but a brilliant kebab shop.
I'm with you. I'll get my shoes on, don't worry. No, but so you've done so much, and like, you know, and the thing is, like, when I was a pop star when I was younger, so I had to literally not sell my soul, but there was so much I had to do, which I didn't want to do. And then I started getting into classical crossover music, into ballads and, you know, kind of arias and stuff like that, because I had more piercings at the time, And I started singing, but I would turn up at a theatre in jeans and a t-shirt and be like, Nessun dorma. And they'd be like, oh, you sound lovely, but we would prefer if you wore something different next time. And I was like, I'm kind of here because I'm singing. I didn't know it was like a catwalk or anything. I'm just here to show my voice, right? And to sing my music, and hopefully people like it, which they obviously did. Yes, but you should really wear a suit. I'm like, okay, looks like I'm not coming back then, love.
This is the problem. There is such a stereotype on all of this stuff, and you must have done it. You see these reality shows, and you go, they turn up, look in the park, right? Or even and you think they're going to knock it out of the park,
yeah.
And they can't sing a note, and they're tone deaf, and you're like, everything's in the right order. The stereotype's correct. And then you equally look at somebody and you go, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then they knock it out of the park. So it's, it goes back to never judge a book by a cover. It's you never know. And I think that's the beauty of art and the arts, is the little nuggets of creativity.
Surprise, right?
that you never see coming. That you just don't. You'd never think that that the Stones are massively into country music and go over to the Grand Ole Opry, and Keith Richards is proper. He could do mastermind on country music.
Wow.
You would never think it, and yet it's incredible what little bits of information and influences people draw on.
Yeah.
And yes, stereotypes. It needs to sort of it needs to go somewhere else.
I think slowly but surely, like I said, I think this kind of COVID thing is almost like, if there's anything positive that's come out of it, is it's allowed artists to spread their wings and not have to be so pigeonholed. Like a friend of mine was in the Canadian Tenors. Phenomenal. He's a phenomenal singer, but he's always been doing kind of like operatic style classical crossover, but wanted to do an album with Winner Takes It All from Abbey and other stuff. And he did an amazing, incredibly well received. He sounded phenomenal. The songs were beautiful, and he did what he wanted to do because he didn't have to be pigeonholed into that.
That's the thing with lockdown, and also with lockdown, not me because I'm no technical expert on anything, but it's made a lot of people realise just how much, let's just say, producers make in their studio for what they're doing. You are talking, you can go from 40, 50, 60 grand plus down to whatever. And ultimately, it's made people work harder and just go, well, actually, yeah, there is a time and a place for that. But do we need that right now? Maybe we should learn our craft a bit more. Maybe we should work a bit harder and work this machinery out ourselves, get a decent demo, and then go into the studio. Because if all you're going to do is pay a producer to build a track, then they're not going to get that when you go and do a gig.
No.
So, so it's made people that would maybe not have been there come up, and it's made people that thought they were all that sort of
reduced their little bubble a little bit.
So it's
right?
definitely leveled the playing field, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's made, like you say, it's made everybody go, hang on, we're all locked in now, we can't go anywhere. So what you got? Can you cook? Can you take photographs? Can you paint? Can you create? Can you do this? What you got?
Can you talk for half hour a few times a week? I was like, what am I going to do? I've got no one to speak to in English. I'm bored. I can't gig. I'm just going to talk. I'm going to talk to lovely creative people, and I'm going to get off on their creation and what they're doing. And I'm just going to sit back like I've got a cup of tea and a scone, and I'm really quite... This is like,
there you go.
Actually, I think I prefer this to singing now, quite frankly. But it's funny what you're saying about the surprises, like the little diamonds in the rough. I was telling this again, it's probably on one of my other interviews, but I started singing classical crossover music. So Josh Groban, Il Divo, Andrea Bocelli, they were all like my new idols as opposed to who I was liking before. And I'd recorded this Josh Groban track. It was a really, really lovely ballad, really beautiful classical crossover track. And I thought, right, I'm going to put it on YouTube, but I was going to check out other singers of this song, other people's covers. And I thought, oh my God, this one guy has like nearly 2 million hits on this song. So I thought, I've got to check this guy. Now, this guy is beautiful. He's topless and has the most phenomenal body at the same time. He couldn't sing if his life played dependent. And I'm like, I've got 63 hits and I can sing, and he's got over 2 million and he couldn't get one note in. Like, there was a nothing. And I was like, oh, God. I like donuts too much to get a six-pack. So
that was a letdown.
Yeah. But it just goes to show that it was just the whole, you know, like, people, we've just been selling ourselves out to really concentrate on talent is actually really sex-based first, right? If you fancy what's coming out of their mouth.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to say any names, but if you go back to the 80s, there was a lot of solo artists out there that should have probably been international superstars. But because it was all based on image and they weren't pin-ups, they didn't really get a look in. And yet people that were pin-ups, you know, all these years on, still can't sing a note. But all those people back then are still doing that circuit and can still knock it out of the park. And it's really sort of, it's had to change where that's had to change. But there's so many good artists back then that slipped through the net just because they didn't fit in that smash it mold, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the internet has been amazing. The fact that it's been a phenomenal way of being able to showcase your talents. And, like, you know, what I've seen now is there are some phenomenal artists in their back bedroom recording and singing. Like, you know, like when they said back in the day, like in the 90s when I had my deal, that there was something like 200,000 people each year tried to get a record deal and only 200 people a year got one. And I was like, I had two. So I was like, oh my God. And I couldn't sing for toffee, really. I was slim and pretty and was typical boy band look. So I got literally through on my sellability and photos and able to wear clothes and stuff. Now I can sing. No one's interested.
Yes, but that's because you're not gone to the right market, Jaden.
I don't know what, darling. The only market I know of now is Shepherd's Bush. Like, I ain't got a clue now what market to go to anymore. So now I'm just being Jaden, and it's like
That's it. And you know what? The more you just look, if you be yourself, you can't get in trouble. Nothing can bite you on the backside.
Absolutely.
There's no pretend. You're not going to forget. Oh, I said I did that, and I said I could do that. Oh, I said I could. You know, I could ride a horse. And then 10 years down the line in an interview, someone said, "Oh, I can't ride a horse." Oh, really? Well, on this day, you said you could.
Yeah. Exactly. Which it was funny. I was saying to like a friend before, you know, like I'm in the middle of doing a show here because I was a classical crossover artist in England. So I came to Mexico and I tried to continue that vein. So I'm singing Nessun Dorma, and someone walks up, taps me on the shoulder as I'm singing bloody Pavarotti, right? And they go, "Do you know any Whitney?" What? So I was like, yes, I do. Vincero! And I was like, I want to dance with somebody. Straight. I was like, I give up now. I'm just singing the songs that I like to sing.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Now, you might have to now and again, we all have to now and again do what the punter wants, you know,
Absolutely.
to get the paycheck.
Absolutely.
But, you know, that's fine. We can all do that. But then we have to go back to, you know, what's really you at the end of the day.
But there was like we said, but that's the joy of creation, right? Like I would say I'm a classical crossover artist, like a ballad boy completely. But I've just recorded a reggaeton single with a phenomenal artist, rapper, you know, great video and stuff. And, you know, I loved it. I love the song. I loved singing reggaeton. I really enjoyed doing the whole video. I was 18 years old again in my mind when I was dancing around on some hotel roof looking out to sea. Do you know what I mean? It was great. But I was going to do
Peter Andre, mysterious girl bit.
Yeah, I was a little bit, you know, I weren't topless for a start because I want to attract some followers, darling, not scare them off.
Should have got that fella.
No, exactly. Yeah, actually. What are you doing on Saturday, mate? It could be like the Milli Vanilli. I sing and he mimes to my voice. That could have worked out quite well, actually. I could be eating a cheese sandwich and a can of Coke at the same time. That would have been all right.
Yeah.
So you've done EPs, albums. So you've got The Session, The Faces of Danielle Morgan, you've got Lockdown, Christmas Like the Old Days. Are you a bit of a Christmas fan?
Do you know that song? I love Christmas, but if I'm honest, I can't swear on it, can I? I am annoyed.
You can.
I am very annoyed that the commercial world has taken over. Now, I know I probably sound like my mum and dad and your nan and granddad, but the generation of no photo albums, you know, laptops, iPads, people, you know, at a dinner on their phone, checking social media, it's a nonsense. And when we lived in Dubai, it was all bling bling. And our kids would be coming home saying, oh, this one's got the latest this and this one's got... And I said to my husband, John, I was like, wouldn't it be nice? This was before lockdown. So, like, it was almost like, God, I feel bad now because obviously lockdown. But it was like, let's just get back to going up Oxford Street and, you know, just, you know, your nan giving you some sweets and, you know, your mum and dad threatening you with a bit of plasticine and a tangerine. And
the simplicity of it, right?
Yeah, you know, just, you know, walking through those December nights, cold, crisp, bit cold, you know, and looking at all the fairy lights.
Twinkles in the windows.
Do you remember them tinsel decorations?
Yeah.
That all like cling, all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, just getting back to where being together. And when I use the word family in some of these, it doesn't have to be blood.
No,
family,
your tribe,
mates,
right?
Family, people you choose to be with, and it's just like getting back. You don't have to give something, you know, just to go around and give someone a chocolate orange, you know, Merry Christmas, or give them a hug, or to get back to that, to get back to actually what really is important, just about being together and just being warm and, you know, enjoying that, the excitement of Christmas Eve. Is he going to come? Is he going to come? Is he going to come? You know? So it's as basic as that, really. Just as basic as that, getting everything back to normal. Is it going to be a white Christmas? I can't remember ever the UK being a white Christmas. It was a few times, but
I think it,
I don't think on
once,
my lifetime. I don't ever
once
think
in my lifetime, I think, but I think it was a couple of flakes on Christmas Eve. So the cookies were happy.
Does that really count?
No. I'm never going to get one now, darling. That's a definite. I remember my Christmas, like I just did on Christmas Eve, I would sit down and I'll watch White Christmas with Bing Crosby. That's my Christmas. It always was when I was in London, and I still continue that kind of that tradition. So I would sit and watch White Christmas every Christmas Eve. And I'm just like, it's never going to be that here for me.
You know, I can give you some hints and tips, right? When we lived in Dubai for a really long time. I used to, at Christmas, draw all the curtains, turn the AC up so it was really cold. I know this is stupid. Put all the fairy lights on and stuff. We never went out on the balcony. I was like, no sunlight coming in, right? And we'd be in jumpers. And everyone was like, it'd be like very warm. And everyone, are you mental? They began to speech for barbecues and everything. I'm like, no, it's Christmas. I wouldn't hang any washing out. I wouldn't do nothing.
Really?
Like, you are crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't go to restaurants. I wanted traditional food. So I'd like be cooking stews and all that in like 90 degrees. Like, you are absolutely mad. And I did that for a long time. And the kids, they'd open the curtain and be like, Mum, I said, no, we're not going out. We're not going swimming. Close the curtains. And then they're like, all right then. And they did get a sense of the season. And that sounds really weird.
No, but it's the only way you can, right?
Sausage and mash and, you know, toting a hole and all that. And I was like, yeah. And I'd be like going around trying to find all of that sort of stuff.
I searched for about 4 days, and I never thought this would ever happen to me. I searched for 4 days looking for bleeding sprouts. Like, what the fuck? I used to spit them out and hide them under the table so I didn't have to have them. They were the dreaded part of Christmas dinner. And I spent 4 days going to buy a handful of bloody sprouts. Never, ever.
You know, it's reverse psychology. You know, we used to do the same. We used to go and spend mad money looking for parsnips and bacon and all of that stuff. Party rings, Robinson's orange squash. When we come back, all right, we have Robinson's orange squash, but we'll have what is in the supermarket. It's really weird that you crave all of that. But as soon as you come back, you're like, oh, well, is that it? And it's really odd. It's a very odd. I don't think in the years we've been back now, 6 years from overseas, I don't think we've had party rings in the house. And yet we spend on average £4 a pack for a pack of party rings.
Oh, I've just spent nearly 40 quid on 2 packets of Weetabix flown in from the States and 4 tins of baked beans.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I had to save up for 6 weeks for that.
Yeah,
and I never thought that baked beans would be more expensive, more priceless than gold for me now.
And Weetabix, I have to challenge Weetabix.
I love Weetabix.
In all the things, Jaden, Frosties, Cocoa Pops.
I can get all them here.
Oh, okay.
Can't get Weetabix.
Right. There must be something else you can't get that you want. Weetabix.
Yeah. There's a bloody list, mate. Lemon curd, salad cream, the lot. But oh my god. So what's next? What's next? At the moment, what are you doing for? Like, what have you been doing this year? You've been working on a musical. Is it called Vengeance?
Yeah, on Oscar Wilde. Yeah, new musical drama on Oscar Wilde. So we're doing that. We're taking, other than PR and networking events and radio stuff on that, in terms of the performance, we're taking a step back because of Panto. You know, no one's had Panto for 2 years. Cast and crew, it's how they make their money. And you wouldn't want to compete with the Panto season, to be honest. So we're taking a little step back from that, and we're trying to remaster. We hope we can get it in time, because obviously there are some restrictions with COVID and bits here. We're still we want to remaster Christmas like the old days. And, you know, because we recorded that remotely, it wasn't in the studio. We want to get into the studio with the band. We want to sort of redo that. We're halfway through that and get that out in time for, you know, a proper single release in time for Christmas. Yeah. And then we're going to release, to get away the January blues, we've got an old song of ours that was never a single that we're going to, again, we've done a lot of work to. I've done a new vocal track, bits and pieces, and we're going to do a new release for that in January. And then literally after that, we're going straight back on tour with Vengeance the musical. So we're trying to line it up as best we can with the music is the day, and the musical theatre is the other side, and we're trying to give them both 100%, but sometimes one takes 150% and one gets 50%. So when that's on a little break, we then try and come to that, and then we try and fit in interviews and meet and greets and all the gigs, you know, all the stuff we should have been doing. So it's interesting, and we try and keep them separate, but it's weird because of the music that sometimes we've done on maybe a slower gig. You know, some of the musical songs, they're like, oh, you know, when will you do that in concert with the orchestra? And I'm just like, this is another musical crossover. So we're not analysing it no more, Jaden. We're just going with it. And if our followers want that, then we'll give it to them. So it's, but not all of our followers like all of the genres we do. You know, we've got followers that will only come to the massive, bigger band concerts with the heavier stuff, the rockier stuff. And then we've got people that will only come to do musical theatre, or they'll only come to do some of the acoustic-y stuff or whatever. So, yeah, we try, I mean, COVID's been different, but we try to put enough information in what we're doing to let basically the punters choose whether they want to come or not.
But that's amazing, like you said, it's because it's crossing over boundaries, you know, like you're something for everyone, right?
It is, but what we used to do in the older days is that we used to do a gig and we used to try and be clever. We'd do all right, we'd do the first, 20 minutes acoustic-y stuff. And then what we'd do the middle bit piano, and we'll bring the band in a little bit, and then we'll get really heavy to the rock. And you had people coming in, jeans and leather jackets, saying, well, we only want to hear No Trace of You, and we only want to hear Shy, and we only want to hear, this, that, and the other. And you're like, why didn't you do that? And we've done set lists where we've dropped some of the stuff that they really want to sing along to, because we were trying new stuff. And they're like, we don't want that. Where's the other stuff? So it's really, I think every band in the world has had the same issue. You try out new stuff, but people want that to sing along. But you can't do a 5-hour gig. Well, we could, but people wouldn't, for commitments and stuff. So we try and now market the gigs of what it says on the tin. It might be an unplugged set. If it's unplugged, I'm pretty sure you're going to get the slower stuff that the UK seem to love. Yeah. And yet the other markets don't want that. They want the upbeat. They want to tap. They want to have a dance. They want to have a sing. So, like So Long Ago, that song, that's like a soul song. It's quite slow, and yet you get millions of people going, love that. Oh my God, love it. And other people are like, oh, well, we love the reggae song. And I'm just like, you know, someone's driving a Volvo.
I don't know what to do anymore.
You cannot cross them over. If someone's doing Facebook and you ask them to go on Twitter, they're not going to do it. Someone's driving a van and you ask them to drive a sports car, they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So you can't mix. They have to decide where they want to go. I've had a headache for years trying to please everybody. It's like trying to organise a wedding.
Yeah.
It's too much aggravation.
Yeah. So you just got to do it, and if you like it, go to it. If you don't like it, just share it on Facebook in case someone does, right?
Yeah, and you know what? There's a lot of people, God love them, they love it. And if we get enough people saying, you know, we're coming for this, or they're tweeting on a hashtagging or whatever, they'll get our attention. And I go, well, we better add that on the set list. And the band will go, you've only given us a week's notice. And I'm like, well, I didn't think we were doing it. Or just sometimes on the night, I'll just say, right, everyone will drop out. They go, right, you're on your own with this one. You know, like Camden Town it's a very difficult song if you've not rehearsed it with a whole band. And sometimes it's like, I'm Billy No Mates. I'm like, where is everyone? You're like, no, you've just said that live at a gig.
A cappella.
All right. And then the audience will start singing along and you're like, all right. As long as
I've got them.
Yeah. John will always be there. He'll always do the drums. He'll always, you know, do a breakdown and get everyone started. So it's, you know, but like you say, you just, one minute you're doing Nessun Dorma, the next minute you're doing
Whitney.
You know, Whitney. You just have to give the crowd what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as
you're a DJ as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And a roadie, and a manager, and a publicist. That's it, right? That's why I've had to dye my hair white now, because I was going grey. I'm like, oh, sod this. Yeah. I'm only 23 years old. So, new album coming out, do you think, in 2022? Is it a plan, or are you more just concentrating on Vengeance?
No, we're doing Vengeance, but to be honest, Vengeance is almost now in a nice little red bow. Okay. And it's out. It's going. So really, we've added a few more songs in this quieter period, but really, it's done. We're working on other musical theatre projects now that we really want to get out. So that's nicely on its way. It's doing its tour. John and I will be there, but we're not needed, which, that hurts. That really hurts. We're not needed anymore.
It's your baby, right? It's like,
we're not needed anymore. So that does hurt. So we get in the way a lot and we get told off a lot, and we're told a lot by the stage manager, why are you two here? You're not needed. And we're like,
we were just shopping in Tesco's and we just popped in.
So we'll just sit in the auditorium eating our ice cream. But so we're working on other stuff. So we've probably been not behind about 3 years now with our albums, because of the musical theatre and because of stuff. So we just really need 3 weeks uninterrupted to get into the studio, record everything basically live. Mm-hmm. And then we will probably work the track, you know, we won't, but people will do the production side of it to make it radio worthy. And then I'll probably go on and put a fresh vocal on, get some backing vocals. And then, so really recording the live bit won't take as much time, because it's almost like doing a gig. Right. Yeah, it's all that pre-production, and then we'll have the albums lined up and we'll just sort of release them maybe every 6 months. I don't know. Right. That's what we need to do. You know, we just need to get them now because they're all there. We play all the albums live, but we don't have the albums produced
live,
to properly go out, you know. So the followers are like, when can we get this? When can we download it? And that's almost why we go and do sort of videos when we can, lockdown videos or a bit of YouTube, just to give them a little injection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, if you've got the band all over the place, to get into a studio to do it all, it does take time. It does. And you don't want to rush it.
To do. No, absolutely. Well, while we've been chatting, not this way, has been going little links of where all the people can go and find you and check out your nearly broke my leg, and check out your stuff. And also your music is all over kind of music sites, right? Like Spotify and stuff like that.
Look, what we've tried to do, we've we've got a lot of commercial people that follow us, you know, on all the that Spotify and Apple Music and all that. And then we've got a lot of musicians and people in the industry that, quite frankly, don't want to subscribe to that. They don't want to be in that bracket. They want Bandcamp, they want SoundCloud, they want Reverb Nation. So we've tried to go on and do that so people can access that music for free. So look, Jaden, we're trying everything to keep. We've got followers at both ends of the scale, and we're trying to be fair to everybody, you know. So there are a lot of our music is accessible free, if I put it like that, on Bandcamp and those things. And then obviously if they've got all the normal downloads of every streaming site and purchasing site,
they just search you, they will find you on something, right? Yeah,
it's there. So we're trying not to do what the record companies do. We're trying not to push people into lanes. And you know, we've even had emails before, like, you know, can we have this or can we do that, or whatever. So, and we've got the website. So look, you know, after that, I think we need to put it to the management.
If they want to find you, they'll find you. That's basically it. But like I said, all the links have been here. I'm so excited. I hope you'll come back and talk to me again sometime.
100%.
I think maybe we need to be doing like 22, 23. We need to be doing a duet, sister.
Love that. And we need to come to Mexico. Make it easy for you, Jaden.
Absolutely. I've got a little studio here. Come and play. We're going to play in the sands, write some music, have some tacos. Everyone's a winner.
Brilliant. I'll bring you salad cream.
Oh, mate, the place is yours. Use it as you will. Danielle Morgan, thank you so much for being part of my show. It's been bloody lovely. You're amazing. You're talented. And I'm so grateful you came on my show. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you again with some more incredible news about how things are going for you.
Brilliant, Jaden. Stay safe, stay blessed, and keep up the Nessun Dorma.
Too right. Less Whitney, more Pavarotti.
That's right. Can't go wrong.
All right, lovely. Take care, you.
Cheers, Jaden.
See you later, Bye.
Bye.
She was so amazing to talk to, and she's such fun and so bloody talented. So I'm very, very excited that she was on my show today. And thank you guys so much for, again, watching, for being part of this, for sharing, for subscribing, for ringing that little bell, for telling all your friends about it. I can't do it unless you guys are watching. So I'm really, really, really grateful for you guys for supporting the Jaden Show. Now, I'm not going to leave you with Jaden's blabbering on. I'm going to leave you with another video from the wonderful artist who was my special guest this week. This is called No Trace of You. This is Danielle Morgan.
Is my story, my dream is my destiny, my wish to be noticed. When will you smile at me? Someday when it's over, one day when we're through, my life will continue. No trace of you. My time is my journey.